So, what do you reckon we should do today? I think we better work on that bike. What still needs doing? We need to refit the carb in the air cleaner, wire brush the wheels, check out the shockies and clean all the chain. Are you going to help or just play on your computer all day? What do you mean play? You know that editing takes longer than doing the actual job? Editing takes longer than the actual job. Are you crazy? Me crazy? You're the one who's talking to himself. Fair enough. Take off that bloody stupid hat. You know Dave hates it. Yeah, so as you can see we've got a fair bit of rust on these rims. However, I think a bit of an application with the wire brush might make a little difference. I see I'm going to need the smallest one I've got. Yeah, so that rim looks a whole lot shinier now. It is actually quite dirty. There's a lot of red soil out here, which cakes on, and very hard to shift, but I'll keep scrubbing it and I'll give it a blow. Yeah, it's definitely better. Okay, so we'll do something about this chain. It's probably a little bit loose, but I think I'm just going to leave it for now. I don't really want to get that involved in that sort of thing. I'm more interested in making sure this will run before we do anything with it. Now I have this Penrite chain lube. It's actually a road synthetic non-fling tacky, but that's what I've got, so it's what we'll use. Alright, so on here I'm going to have another crack at this rear wheel. I couldn't get it to spin last time, but now it should be fine. Right, so once again, that's not perfect, but it certainly is better. I'll give the bike a good wash down before I put it up for sale. I said when I took this off that this was probably the hardest carburetor I'd ever found to remove. and putting it on is proving no easier. Now that is where I need to get the nut. Now there's just no way to get in there. I've been struggling with this for quite some time now. So yes, if you do get one of these, hope you don't have to pull the carburetor off. Oh yes, as soon as it had my whinge, it popped straight on. But now I'm looking at it thinking to myself, I really wish I'd put the fuel line on before I put it in there. But anyway, well, I guess we'll deal with that as it happens. Now around the other side, taking it off and on, this nut here, of course, you cannot take the nut off with the carburetor in place, so you have to undo the carburetor a little bit and then pull it back and then pull the nut all the way to the end and pop it off. So a bit inconvenient, especially seeing as how the carburetor did want to move it off. But anyway, I'm sure that the getting the filter element in will be just as difficult. And there she is, all back together again. It was very tricky getting this boot back in because it actually popped it out to get the carburetor off. And there's no access from the other side to push the boot, so it was a fair bit of wiggling and wooing, but then it all seems to go together. The throttle now, well, at least it was returning by itself while it was open. A little bit of fuel in there, I probably lubricated a bit more, but you can at least close it now. When I got it, it was jam solid, so yeah, that'll come good. So yeah, now I just got to sort out the fuel tap and get the tank back on. Where's that bloody screwdriver? Ah, there it is. Okay, so I was hoping that I would be able to fix this by pulling it apart, but it appears that it has rivets in it instead of screws. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do with that. We might just have to invoke the snap-on gods and say, come on, with the snap-on you can fix anything. Well, that looks a lot better. Okay, now that we've finally got this fuel tap, it's time to put it on. Oh my goodness, no, look. It's not the right size. Deary me. Oh, I wonder if it's because I used the snap-on gods and they've given me a standard, an SAE one. What can I do with it? Hang on a minute. I've just had an idea. If the snap-on guides didn't suit me out, I'll use my Fujiya pliers and I'll just see if I can squeeze it a little bit, these being Japanese and this being a Japanese bike, and maybe I can squeeze that down enough for it to fit. Okay, well that seems to have worked.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that is absolutely awesome. Yeah, well, it's seemed to be alright. Alright, now I'm sorry about the light in here, but I've got a window at one end and a door at the other, so it doesn't really matter what I do, it's probably going to be too light or too dark. Tank on. Now I'd like to run a filter on this, but there's not much room between there and there, so it's going to be quite a short piece of hose. Anyway, we will do it. That way. Alright, well that seems to be okay. A little bit of fuel in. On. Yeah, I can see that running the carburetor already. But anyway, we might just pop it all back together and see if it's going to start. Okay, well I don't know how I'm going to go. I've never full started a bike before. I'm thinking everything's right. We'll see how it goes. Oh, that's me for a bit. I'm buggered. Alright, so I fitted a new spark plug. And I pulled my arm off and then I thought stuff it. I hooked it up to the car battery and just ran it on the starter. It didn't take too long to start. Now we'll start from the pull, but I mean that depends on, I guess, how long I let it sit for. So, unfortunately, it has no forward propulsion. So, I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to stop and have a long hard think about how far I want to get into this, what the bike is actually worth. I can spend a lot of money on this and find out that it's not worth what I've spent, or I can try and flip it as it sits and recoup some of the money I've spent and then get something that I would really rather work on. So yeah, I've got a lot of thinking to do, and I'll catch you later.